Alvin Harper to the Michael Irvin, in the big game. The John Taylor to the Jerry Rice in the big game. Chris in Neptune, what's up, Chris?
Hey, Mike. The one take I've got on this Rams game is, a lot during the year we've talked about how McVay is always in the ear of Jarod Goff, right up until the time deadline, with whatever it is, 15 seconds to go.
Right.
And I was just looking at the Rams schedule here to see if they had struggled, in loud stadiums. And they had won at Seattle and they won at Denver. But I think that when you look at the Bears game, the Bears were allowed a stadium that night when they played the Rams, and the Rams struggled greatly with false starts, with not getting even to the line of scrimmage, and I think it had a lot to do with McVay being in the ear of Jarod Goff. And with this loud stadium down in New Orleans today, one take I have on the game is you might see St. Louis struggle with false starts, with delay of games, with burning their timeouts. And that's another thing, Mike. The Rams the Rams will go deep into games without timeouts. They'll burn their timeout, early in the fourth quarter. So I think that's going to be a thing.
You can't. You got to be careful. You really have to be careful of doing that. The best place they played this year, that would be, the two places they won, which are loud, Seattle and Denver, are both very loud. They won in both those places. Their game in New Orleans, they did score 35 points, but they gave up a ton of points in that game. I mean,
and they didn't have issues at the line of scrimmage, Mike. But if you looked at that Chicago game a few weeks ago, they had tremendous trouble at the line of scrimmage. And I know Chicago's not that loud, but it was a night game, and it was pretty loud out there. And they could not get a number of plays off, Mike.
In the last time they played, the game looked very much like the Cowboy game last week. Anderson, 23 carries, 123. Gurley, 15 carries, 115. That's almost a carbon copy of what happened last week, and you could see that has to be the game plan. Has to be the game plan for them again. They have to get that kind of running game out of their team. If they are going to beat the Saints, if the Rams are going to beat the Saints, their running game is going to produce major yardage. It's got to. If it doesn't, I don't see them winning the game. I don't think they can if they can't run the ball. I think the Rams have to run the ball to win that game. I really do. I think I think they. I don't think there's any way around that. I think they would have to do that to have any chance. I mean, I would think that would be the case. I mean, they could make some big plays. You can tell me they can make some big plays in the passing game, but I don't know if that would, No, excuse me. Wait a second. Let me redo that, because that was, that wasn't the right game. I had the wrong game there. And the last time they played them in New Orleans, Anderson didn't play. Gurley had 68, only 13 carries. They mostly passed the ball. The reason why is they were behind big in the game. They were down 14-7. Then they were down 28-14, 35-14. They came back and tied at 35, all passing. So they got way down. I was looking at the wrong game. I wasn't looking at those weren't the stats for the first time they played. The first time they played, they basically got way behind. They got behind 21 points, and they basically passed the ball a lot. And he passed the ball pretty well in that game. He had pretty good numbers in that game. He was 35. He threw for 3. Let me give you the exact numbers, because his numbers were pretty good in that game. They really were. I mean, for the most part, he had a very good game that day. The final score was 45-35. In the game, Goff was 28 of 40 for 391 and 3 touchdowns, 1 intercept. Cooks had a good game. Kupp had a good game. He was not there. Woods had an okay game. Gurley was 13 for 68, 1 touchdown. Gurley had 6 catches in the game. They ran the ball. Really didn't run the ball for much other than that, but they were behind a lot in the game. They were behind early, and they were behind big in the middle of the game, so that's why they wound up running the ball up. So today I think they'd have to run the ball a lot better. First of all, their passing attack hasn't been as good since Cooper Kupp went out. They haven't been the same team. Their numbers, both quarterbacks' numbers are down pretty significantly since week 13 statistically. Both quarterbacks. Nick in LA, what's up, Nick?